live English podcast. Today, Hun Sen, former Prime Minister of Cambodia, and today he's the President of the Senate, launched a huge series of salvos against the Thai government, in particular, Thaksin, former Prime Minister and father of the current Prime Minister, Paetongtarn. His objective was clearly to discredit Thaksin and Paetongtarn. He even included Yingluck, another former Prime Minister, also of the Shinawatra family. Hun Sen claims that he had helped all these people in many ways with Thaksin even before he started a political party. When Thaksin was just a businessman, he helped Thaksin in starting business, also when he launched the Thai Party. Hun Sen claims that he also played a part in helping Thaksin start his political career. And when Yingluck fled the country before the court decided to put her in jail for 5 years over negligence in the populist policy to support rice price, Hun Sen claimed that Yingluck fled to Cambodia, where he helped her to get special documents to travel on to Singapore. With Paetongtarn, he seems to really want to target her, saying that she deliberately insulted him and his son, Hun Manet, the Prime Minister of Cambodia, for having said that they both were unprofessional in propagating stories against Thailand on social media, and in particular, the leakage of the audio clip of the conversation between Paetongtarn and Hun Sen, whom she called uncle. That leaked audio clip became a very big controversial political storm in Thailand because she is seen to have kowtowed to him, asking uncle, so-called uncle, to help her out of her political trouble because of that, the content of that clip. Now, instead of being very kind to his niece, Paetongtarn, Hun Sen considered that a big insult and suggesting that there will be a new prime minister in Thailand in 3 months' time. He claims he knows who that new prime minister is, but he's not able to tell now. In fact, Hun Sen went all the way to say that he would not deal with the current prime minister anymore. He will only deal with the new prime minister. This is quite unusual. It is effectively interfering in Thai politics. But Paetongtarn seems lost for words. She has not said anything official except a message on her IG apps saying that the Thai government may have somehow destroyed Hun Sen's, what she called the bowl of rice, meaning commercial interest. But Thaksin has kept very quiet. Paetongtarn has not responded with any real tit for tat so far. What did Hun Sen actually say? He spent about 3.5 hours talking to the local administration in Vihan province. And at least half of the time, he was attacking Thailand, in particular, or particularly Thaksin and Paetongtarn, the Shinawatra family members. there might be some who say that, well, most of what Hun Sen said was nothing new to the Thai people. It was just repeating stories that are well known in Thailand. But then several serious allegations he made could put more trouble on Paetongtarn and Thaksin, such as his revelation, disclosure, that when he visited Thaksin on 21st February last year, soon after Thaksin left hospital back to his home in Chansongla, he took a picture, and this is the one. Hun Sen took this picture with Thaksin. At the time, the official story from Thaksin is he was so ill that he could not be sent back to jail. So he was given temporary house arrest. But today, Hun Sen said, no, that was all just staged. He said Thaksin was okay physically, and he put on the band only, or the band around his neck only when the picture was taken, just to show that he was really officially sick. That kind of disclosure or expose could really land Thaksin in trouble, especially during a series of questioning by the court on his 180 days of stay at a very luxurious hospital room on the 14th floor of the police hospital. Because he officially has said that his doctors confirmed he was too ill to go back to jail. And that statement by Hun Sen today could really add some very serious accusations against Thaksin. So what did Hun Sen actually say? What kind of allegations did he throw at Thaksin and Paetongtarn? Is this going to make things worse between the two countries? My AI reporters, the team, Ping and Pong, will dig into that in the following deep dive. Hi, Ping and Pong.
Welcome to Suthichai Live English Podcast. We are Suthichai's AI team. I am Ping.
And I am Pong.
Hello, and welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something quite significant. It's this recent address by Samdech Techo Hun Sen, the president of Cambodia's Senate.
That's right.
He touched on so much, didn't he? Cambodia-Thai relations, sure, but also, big national interest stuff.
Absolutely. And our job today really is to unpack all of that, to sort of peel back the layers on this important speech. We want to pull out the key bits of information, figure out what it all means for the region, for Cambodia itself.
Right.
Because these weren't just off-the-cuff remarks. The timing, the place, it gives us a real window into, well, high-stakes diplomacy and how leadership works there. The level of detail was quite striking.
Okay, so let's paint the picture. When and where did this happen?
This was June 27th, 2025, and the location is key. Pria Vier province in Cambodia.
Pria Vier. Yeah, that name rings a bell. Lots of history there, especially border history with Thailand.
Exactly. It's a place with real historical weight. And he was speaking to local council members, provincial, city district, even down to the commune and village level.
So a local audience on the surface.
On the surface, yes. But the message, it was clearly meant for ears far beyond that room. Definitely national within Cambodia, but also very much international.
Aimed at Thailand, you think?
Oh, certainly. Targeting Thailand seems like a major objective. Using that specific location, Pria Vier, with those local officials. It just amplifies everything he said. It wasn't just talk. It felt grounded, literally, in contested territory.
Interesting. Now, it wasn't all geopolitics, was it? He apparently shared some personal stories, too.
He did, yeah. He talked about his training with difficulties, starting from when he was just 13, living in a pagoda to study.
Hmm.
And he compared his own struggles to those of farmers, actually saying his weren't as hard as theirs. Kind of builds this image of a leader who came up the hard way, you know.
Right, connects him to the common person.
Exactly. And it's not just sentiment. He tied into his leadership story.
Right.
He mentioned traveling like 6,000 kilometers since 2016
Wow.
and investing heavily, around $400 million, he said, in things like schools and infrastructure.
Okay.
And the point of all this,
Yeah.
to basically say the current government, the new generation, as he put it, is doing a good job. He cited rising revenues, customs, taxes,
Right.
and claimed there's more cash in the National Treasury now than when he stepped down as PM. It's about legacy, continuity, effectiveness.
Okay, so let's get to the core conflict then, the border. He described a bad situation in places like Priya Vihar
Yes.
and directly blamed Thai invasion. That's really strong language.
It absolutely is. It sets a very confrontational tone right away.
Yeah.
But then he talked about how Cambodia wants to resolve it.
Peacefully.
Yes, he stressed peaceful resolution, but through a sort of two-track approach. First, bilateral talks nation to nation.
Makes sense.
But if that doesn't work, then turning to the International Court of Justice, the ICJ.
Ah, the World Court in The Hague.
That's the one. And he got specific, mentioning 4 areas tied to the ICJ. Tamon Tom Temple, Tamon Tok Temple, the Krabi Temple, and this three-corner point, Mumbai.
These are all known disputed spots, right?
Very much so. Flashpoints. But he also noted, there are many other border areas that still need just bilateral talks.
Yep.
It shows how complex the whole border situation is.
And then he issued that challenge.
He did. A direct challenge to Thailand. If you accuse us of invading your land, why won't you take us to the ICJ? Or come with us to the ICJ?
That's a bold move. What's the strategy there?
Well, it puts Thailand in a tricky position, doesn't it? If they refuse, it could look like they aren't confident in their case. Or maybe they don't want international legal scrutiny. It's smart diplomacy, trying to frame the narrative.
And then there was that bit he called amazing. Something about the adversary, presumably Thailand, acknowledging Khmer land.
Yes, that was intriguing. He said they recently acknowledged land linked to certain maps as being Khmer. That could be huge if true. A potential shift, or at least something Cambodia can use.
Okay. And why the emphasis on the ICJ rulings?
He argued they provide clarity, an internationally recognized decision that both governments can then take back to their own people. Takes the politics out of it, frames it as law and justice.
Makes it easier to sell domestically, maybe?
Perhaps. And he also warned Cambodian opposition politicians, basically telling them not to demand sensitive legal documents about the ICJ cases. He framed it as needing national unity on this, trusting the government.
Right. Don't undermine the national position for political points.
Exactly. It's a sovereignty issue, a national security issue, in his view.
Okay, so the border stuff is tense enough, but then it got really personal, didn't it? He said he'd lost patience with the Thai PM, Patong Tarm Shinawatra.
Oh, yes. Lost patience because of her repeated attacks, he said. This wasn't just diplomatic disagreement anymore. It felt like a public severing of ties at the top.
And the leaked audio incident. That seems central to this breakdown.
It really does. He gave his version of events. Said the Thai PM and Yingluck Shinawatra asked for a troop adjustment at that three-corner point.
The flashpoint area again.
Yes, and they thanked him. But then, he claims, Thailand broadcast misleadingly that Cambodia had withdrawn troops unilaterally. He saw that as deception.
Well, that's why he recorded the next call.
That's his explanation. He recorded the June 15th call with the Thai PM because of that perceived betrayal. Initially shared it with a small group, about 80 people.
A private group.
Supposedly. He suggested the leak came from someone in that group who was angry about the Thai PM's attacks on him. So then, he just released the whole 17-minute recording himself.
Taking control of the narrative. But wow, recording and releasing calls between leaders.
Definitely blurs lines, doesn't it? Private diplomacy versus public fallout.
And his accusations against her were incredibly harsh, calling her discussion of her own military commander a betrayal of the nation.
Very strong. And then saying flat out he can't work with her. He's waiting for a new Thai PM. I mean, that's about as blunt as it gets.
No room for doubt there.
None. And he pushed back hard, saying she could insult Thai generals, fine, but not him. He criticized her language as unprofessional, highlighting the age and status difference,
Ouch.
and challenged Thailand to sue him over the recording, saying Thai courts have no power in Cambodia anyway. It's become really personal, about respect, national honor, perceived slights.
What was that about Thaksin calling him Leader 001?
Yeah, that was another interesting tidbit. Thaksin Shinawatra, her father, apparently called Hun Sen Leader 001. It suggests, a certain pecking order or level of influence Hun Sen held, at least in Thaksin's view, within that whole regional dynamic. Adds another layer to the current tensions.
Okay, let's switch gears slightly. Online crime came up too. How did he frame that?
He positioned Cambodia as a victim. His argument was that Thailand, with all its international flight connections, is actually a major transit hub for these fraudsters.
So, pushing back against blame being solely on Cambodia.
Absolutely. He called for more international cooperation, explicitly rejected the idea Cambodia is the sole source, and even called Thailand a shelter for these criminals.
Shelter?
Yeah, and he pointed to Malaysia building a border fence as evidence that others also see Thailand as, well, a source of cross-border crime problems.
Any other points on Thailand?
He challenged the Thai defense minister directly on claims about Thailand supplying electricity and internet to Cambodia. He really stressed Cambodia's energy independence. It's all part of asserting sovereignty and self-reliance.
Right. Okay, turning inward then to Cambodian policy. This proposed change to the nationality law sounds significant, revoking citizenship.
It is significant, considering stripping citizenship from Cambodians who collude with foreign powers to harm the country. And what's notable is he used to oppose this kind of law.
So why the change of heart?
He now sees it as necessary, basically to stop foreign actors from using Cambodian citizens against Cambodia itself. It's framed as a national security measure against foreign aggression.
A strong internal move.
Very. And tied into that was reiterating Cambodia's right to self-defense. He made that comment about having weapons that could reach Bangkok.
That got attention, I bet.
Oh, for sure. But he immediately followed up by saying Cambodia chooses not to use them. It's deterrence showing capability, but stressing peaceful intent. He also mentioned the single leadership system, maybe projecting stability.
Now, this next part is quite the revelation, helping Yingluck Shinawatra escape Thailand.
Yes, he openly admitted it, arranging a Cambodian passport for her. But he framed it strictly as humanitarian aid, not political meddling.
Humanitarian aid, okay. And the claim about Thaksin's illness being an act.
Yeah, another bombshell. Claiming Thaksin's reported illness was faked to help his return to Thailand, and that Thaksin asked him for help with that return.
Wow. And his own role in setting up the Phu Thai party.
He touched on that too. The Shinawatra's party, the current ruling party he's now clashing with, it just shows how incredibly deep and tangled these relationships have been over the years.
Mind-boggling, really. Personal ties, political favors, now open conflict.
It paints a picture of very complex personal connections underpinning regional politics. He did stress, though, that Cambodia didn't give land for political action against other countries, just helped a person in need.
So despite all this friction, what was his final message on relations with Thailand?
But despite everything, he circled back to wanting peaceful resolution. He talked about his long-term vision, turning old battlefields into development zones, making borders places of peace, friendship, cooperation, and development.
The sharing candy, not bullets idea.
Exactly that metaphor. So even amid all the harsh words and revelations, there's still this stated desire for a stable, cooperative future. It's quite a mix.
Wow. That's a lot to process. What an incredibly wide-ranging speech. From his own life story to these really intense border disputes, the personal clashes, online crime, policy changes, it covers so much ground.
It really does. You see the personal history, the diplomatic maneuvering, the calls for national unity, the vision for the region, all delivered with incredible directness. And it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? Especially now, when private talks can become public weapons. How are these really deep historical feelings and these very personal clashes going to affect things moving forward between Cambodia and Thailand and, across Southeast Asia?
Definitely something to ponder. The future of diplomacy in a very connected and sometimes very confrontational world.
Indeed.
And stay tuned for the next episode of Suthichai Live English Podcast. We are Suthichai's AI team. I am Ping.
And I am Pong.
Until then, have a good day. Goodbye.
Thank you, Ping and Pong. And this is Suthichai Live English Podcast. I bring the podcast to you every day on topical issues related to Thailand, ASEAN, and the region. Thank you for listening. Until then, until the next episode, good night. 1.5 ล้านแล้วครับ1.5 ล้านคน ผู้ที่ติดตาม Subscribe สุทธิชัยไลฟ์ใน YouTube ขอบคุณทุกท่านนะครับที่กดแชร์กดไลค์และขอบคุณเป็นพิเศษสำหรับผู้ติดตามสุทธิชัยไลฟ์ใน YouTube ที่กด Super Chat Super Sticker เป็นกำลังใจให้กับทีมงานของผมครับ 1.5 ล้านวันนี้ตั้งเป้า 2 ล้านก่อนสิ้นปีขอบคุณทุกท่านที่ช่วยกันครับ